family to all come. It's a great blessing to have a community like this and a masjid like this. So up next we will have Saad Afzal. He has been in YN since the beginning. Alhamdulillah, he was our first ever coordinator starting in December of 2018. Currently, Saad is the sub-regional coordinator of Pennsylvania, in which he oversees every YM in Pennsylvania, and he helps nationally as well. So please welcome Saad Afzal.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. We begin with the name of Allah, and we send our peace and blessings upon Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to his companions, and to his family, to the day of judgment. I first want to start off with thanking everyone who came out today. Alhamdulillah, this is our second event in a while, so thank you everyone here. I love the turnout, I love people coming, and I want to thank all the volunteers as well as anyone who's helped on the day of. Everyone knows who that is. Special shout out to Monum and the food crew, because food is amazing. So about our organization, like Saad was saying, I wasn't actually the first coordinator. Technically it was Saad Arshad, so he's hyping me up a little bit. But basically, Young Muslims, so we are Young Muslims. So Young Muslims is a national organization. We are present in over 9 different states, 9 different subregions actually. Each subregion consists of multiple neighbor nets. Neighbor nets are each chapter, essentially. So we have a chapter in Easton for Pennsylvania, and we have a chapter in Devon, Philadelphia area, if you're familiar with that currently. There are expansions happening, alhamdulillah, so keep an eye out for that. But at the end of the day, we are the local youth group, and whatever I say, the reason why we are Young Muslims and not just Easton is because there are certain resources that allow us to get there, and not to take away from all the help that we get from the masjid, because Brother Samir, people like Sarm, and Brother Farhad, they're all great mentors and people in the community that help us to get to this position. But at the end of the day, we need everybody to put in that effort and help us to develop ourselves, develop our personalities, develop our Islamic values. That's why we're here today. So yeah, we're the largest national youth group that exists currently. And not many of you know this, but we are national. So there are many different organizations. I've seen and met people from Dallas, from Houston, and those are just 2 SRs, and they have multiple neighborhoods in them. And then we have New York, New Jersey. New Jersey is one of the oldest, where Brother Qasim Mazhar was from, and even down to Florida. Basically, any region that you would think that has a large Muslim population, we're generally there. So, coming back to it, we are an organization. So there's a mission statement and a vision statement. And as you can read, Muslims seeks the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by empowering Muslim youth through companionship, mentorship, education, and service. And then our vision is American Muslim youth collectively contributing to the betterment of society with God consciousness and a firm understanding of their Muslim identity. In this society that we live in today, there's so many different vices that we're affected by, that come into our lives, especially in the Western culture. So Young Muslims has come since the 1990s to kind of establish that companionship and mentorship that Muslim youth need nowadays. It's not easy. It's not something that just comes out of the blue. It's been here for a while. It's a tried and true kind of formula. It doesn't work everywhere, but alhamdulillah, it's been working here, and as long as it's working here, well, inshallah, we'll try to keep it going as much as we can. Coming back to some numbers, this is the kind of boring part, but 50 plus neighbor nests, 9 sub-regions, like I mentioned. There's 12 national teams, 10 national events, and 27,000 2,750 members over the entire country. Coming back to the national stage, there are many resources that are given to us and are available. There are many organizations that we partner with. So, for example, Yakin Institute, where Brother Adolfo Hussein was from, Young Muslims have partnered with them, so we use them for different resources, halakat, and they're working with them. Actually, pretty recently, they established a Tarbiyah Council. We are relatively new, so there are a lot of new things and a lot of good things happening. So recently they announced the Tarbiyah Council, which is a combination of some national shura members as well as different scholars and different speakers that provide that insight and knowledge and backing, where we make sure that we're aligned with the prophetic sunnah and the Quran. So now coming back to Lyon, Pennsylvania, like I said, we have 2 neighbor nests currently, and inshallah expanding soon. It doesn't, we only started with a couple people, so now we're really getting up there, alhamdulillah, with the help of everybody here. What do we do? So our bread and butter of YM is, you'll hear all throughout the night, you're going to hear all these events that we're doing, and all these things that we're doing, alhamdulillah, it's awesome. But I want everyone to know that that's not our bread and butter. Our bread and butter is our weekly neighbor nets. Why? Because those weekly neighbor nets is where we try to build those relationships with our guys. Alhamdulillah, I've seen all these guys, for so long, and they've been growing in front of me, and it's amazing to see. But there's just a lot of people that you don't get where you just do, one large event and then you stop, right? And stop, start, and go. But we try to stay to the consistent pattern of a weekly or even bi-weekly, whatever works in the community. That's kind of what we try to establish anywhere they're trying to expand, just to set that basis of consistency. So some of the events that we have done, actually. So YMPA was, YM Easton was, there was a neighbor net here as well. So we had YM Easton, and then once we established YM Pennsylvania back in 2021. And so in 2021 if you remember, COVID, so we couldn't really do a lot of stuff in person. So what we decided to do instead of that was try to use a video game tournament. And this is, we actually had Rocket League. Many of the youth are into video games, so we have to cater to that and make sure that it's something that people want. We actually had a gift card prize, whoever won. We had teams from Devon, Easton compete for that. So I think that was a success, alhamdulillah. We also had the hiking trip back in 2021 as well. So that was over the summertime, and that was something that we went down and joined in with other brothers and kind of enjoy the nature of things and appreciated the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He brought us and where we are. As you know, most of our lives nowadays are stuck on these things. So it's good to get out and get to somewhere that's more fulfilling and more desirable, and something where we can actually grow as individuals, rather than just constantly be on the struggle of which media app am I going to be on today, who am I going to text today, what's the next step for me. So just to take a step back and to take it all in. Actually, one we did very, very recently was paintball. Alhamdulillah, we did this very recently back in July now. So we had a turnout of over 40 people. It was, I think it was really fun. The guys can speak to it, but that was the first time we did that. We got to bond with each other and get to know each other better through paintball. First time I did it, it actually hurt pretty badly. But I didn't actually realize it didn't hurt the first couple of times. And then the one time, this did not go well, but had to push through it. So I want to come back to this hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, where I mentioned earlier that the Prophet said that the best deeds are the ones that are few, or the ones that are small yet consistent. This is Bukhari and Majah, as you can see. that's something that, I hold on to personally. Anything that we do as Muslims, as community members, as people, if you don't hold on to consistency, stuff starts to fall apart, unfortunately. And so keeping that consistency, pushing through it in the times of hardship, in the times of, mental blocks, that's where we pride ourselves on, where we want to keep ourselves at that level, at least. Given that being said, some of the things that we do is we try to hold in every session some sort of activity, right? So we'll play football, basketball, whatever the guys are feeling. We'll hold a halakat to make sure that we have our guys speak on certain topics. So it doesn't have to be anything we're not scholars, right? We're not, as you saw from the slide before, we're producing tarbiyah. Tarbiyah, if you're unaware, is nurture or growth in the Islamic sense. So you're basically growing as individuals, as Muslims, and that tarbiyah is then taken to the next level, right? So we want to make sure our guys are at a point where they're able to give those halaqas. They're able to give a small talk on anything that their heart desires, right? So for example, how to give charity. A lot of our guys, our age group is 14 to 25, so, they might not be giving money out, they might not be making money yet, but they can give a smile, right? They can give a smile to the brother next to them. They can say salam to the brother next to them. They can, shake their hands, have a firm handshake. They can, give a small talk on anything, respecting the parents, anything to that nature. And then we also have food, usually. So yeah, we're seeking that way to the Quran and Sunnah. We're not looking through other, paths of knowledge. We want to make sure that we're establishing the deen through the right manners. We have people in the community that guide us. We have people at the higher levels that are producing that tarbiyah for us. For those who are more engaged, we have classes that we offer that people can take in order to even get to the next level. And then we want to see people go to the next level. And if they have that passion, not everyone's going to become a scholar, not everyone's going to become that next big speaker, but they can learn about Islam and establish their minimum or some requirements, or the requirements that we have as Muslims. And anybody is welcome, whether whatever background you come from, ethnic backgrounds. We take everyone, regardless of who they are and where they come from, or financial background or anything like that. With that being said, all I want to say is that, like Brother Samir said, the Prophet said that those who come walking towards me, Allah subhanahu comes running towards them. So anything that you do, I'm calling upon everyone here, that these things don't just happen, they happen because of you. You have to come up and step up and take charge and be able to see something that's wrong and fix it. If you see a brother that's struggling, fix it, help him. Go out. If you see some people cooking food and you see them struggling, help them. And I've seen a lot of these guys do it, alhamdulillah. But taking it to the next level and taking that to the next level and helping us out. Here in Hawaiian, we always get the help in the masjid, community events, anything to that nature. Please help out. Jazakallah khair. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah, thank you, Saad, for your wise words and telling us a little bit more about what YM is. Now we all have a better understanding and how big YM is, and anyone is welcome. So please tell whoever you know that is in the age group of 14 to 25 to come and see what YM is truly about. Moving on up, next we will have our current YM coordinator, Ibad Qureshi. But Ibad has also been an active member of YM since December of 2018, so from the beginning, and he's immensely helped bring YM to where it is today and help coordinate many events. A lot of the young YM members seek his help and advice, especially me, since he is my older brother. So thank you for everything you do for me and YM. So please come on up. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. If you don't know who I am, to my brothers, I'm Paijan, and I'm Ibad Qureshi. I'm the current YM coordinator of the Hawaiian chapter. Alhamdulillah. I am the fourth member, following Saad Afzal, Aman Sheikh, and Ali Rizwan, who is not here today. And I just want to give a quick shout out to them. If it wasn't for you guys who put your blood, sweat, and tears into making this amazing YM, and actually everyone around, friends, family, YM members themselves, and the Ashura, the OG youth group, if you guys know who you are, helping me personally reach this position in coordinatorship and giving me the confidence to be up here and explaining our work and mission. So may Allah reward all of you guys for your efforts. Alright, but enough about them. So Alhamdulillah, we started out as a YM back in November of 2018, and we weren't established until December of 2018, so it took a month. And that was with the guidance of Saad Arshad, who is also not here today. And we started and continue to meet every Friday here at EPMA. And just to give a rundown of our weekly YM, of what it entails, we get together and we start playing a variety of games with everyone. And then after that is followed with the Maghrib prayer, and we do a halakha. Then after that, we usually order food or we go out to eat, finishing it off with Isha prayer. So, as you guys saw on the previous slide, there was a variety of major events, which I will briefly explain as we go through the slides. So, as pictured here on the right side is our first Hawaiian Picnic, which was held in summer of 2019. It was actually one of the biggest events that we co-coordinated that year. And then next to it, we have pictured our first Hawaiian sleepover. And that is actually one of the most fun events that we hold annually now. And what we basically do is we stay up all night, playing, cooking, laughing, talking, doing a bunch of ibadah until Fajr. Then we have the year of 2020. Everybody remembers that year, the year that's written in the books. So basically, as we see here, we have our iftar drive-thrus that we did in coordination and cooperation with EPMA. And then next to it, we also have our e-drive-thru. And I would say these events, it's probably one of the most, if not the most rewarding event that we did. It was definitely memorable for me, and I know some of the YM guys as well. And then we have, fast forward to next year, 21. We started more of our out of quarantine, our fun era. This is where we began our annual escape room trips, and we started doing YM movie night events as well. And then now to this year, 2022, we have had multiple YM bowling nights and a special guest appearance in an event held by EPMA. Those of you who attended probably know of the event. It was the career fair event where we learned about interviews, resume building, and building connections for our careers in the future. And then here's some more pictures of what we did. Just to completely go through, we got bonfire night, we got more movie night pictures, the hiking trip that Saad was talking about, YM and his one uncle's basement up there too, nights. So alhamdulillah, we have done plenty as a YM, and we continue to do more. But although we provide like a place of fun, a place for people to get together, we also have a mission. These events are key factors to the effectiveness of establishing brotherhood and creating lifelong memories. It encourages members to come to the masjid and help our youth find that path to Allah. In all these events, we as a YM stay on top of our prayers, and it is not a YM without a halakha. So to briefly describe what a halakha is, it's basically an Islamic discussion that takes place focusing on a specific topic. And we try to look for topics, or whoever's giving the halakha, try to look for topics that will relate back to us as a YM. knowledge that we have, we try to bring to our YM, and we hope that if there's one thing that they leave with, it is with the knowledge of Islam and how to be a better Muslim. Alright, and as mentioned before, we started YM in December of 2018. And back then it was only 5 to 7 members. We were starting off slowly. But alhamdulillah, now on a weekly basis we get 10 to 15 members. And that exceeds actually the 20-30 members during our summer-winter periods. And we have used actually our social media knowledge to our advantage to reach out to families, to the youth as much as possible. And because of it, we have seen a 75% increase in followers since 2020. So if you guys want to follow our Instagram page, there's a brochure, it kind of looks like this. You guys can either scan the QR code, or you can follow us at ym.houston.brothers. We also continue to build a strong connection with other organizations such as EPMA that I mentioned, MEL, ICPA, and along with across the state, YM Devon, that was mentioned, and nations like YMs in NJ, Connecticut, and New York, since they are closer. And with those connections, we intend to expand our YM membership and initiate our participation in community services, especially in the greater Lehigh Valley area. And of course, we want to always be there for the masjid involvement, such as this event today, and many more to come, inshallah. And the best way is, our brother Samir mentioned, so many projects going on, so I encourage you all to take part in it. And I know with the help of our enthusiastic YM members and their friends and family, we can make this happen. Jazakallah khair, everyone, and we will now hear a few words from our members and what YM means to them.
Alhamdulillah, thank you, Bob, for showing everyone what YM is and what we do here at the masjid. We ask that all of you keep YM Easton and YM as a whole in all your du'as and prayers. So now that all the speeches are done, you guys probably have a bunch of questions. So inshallah, we'll move on to a Q&A, and if you have any questions, they will be answered. We'll also be getting some testimonials for some of the YM members that's been in this area, in this YM, for a long time. So please, come on up.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Oman, by the way, and I'm also known as like the Yaqub's son. Most of you guys know. So, like Ibad and Saad said, I served as coordinator during 2020. I was known as the quarantine coordinator. Served over the COVID years. But alhamdulillah, what YM means to me. So personally, I feel like a lot of people in the youth, especially like in our generation, they go through like the same thing as me. For example, I went to a public high school and I went to a public middle school as well. And in my classes, there was barely any Muslims. I would say probably only 1 or 2 at most. And unfortunately for me, they were female, so I wasn't able to do Jummah with them. And as a result, I had to pray by myself, and I didn't have as many Muslim friends growing up, sadly. And I remember as soon as I got to freshman year of college, like the first semester, Saad also came to me and he was like, hey, I'm thinking of starting a neighbornet here in Easton. And pretty much a neighbornet is where a bunch of Muslim guys would come over to YM. And I thought this was a great idea just because that a bunch of Muslim guys can come to the masjid and hang out. And this is like a friend group I never had before, right? This is like a bunch of Muslims coming. And this is the one thing that I really wanted to go for, because like growing up, I wasn't able to have like an actual Muslim group. And I was aiming like maybe this way of actually starting an YM, we can create a bond, create a brotherhood and a safe space where other Muslims can come to the masjid and actually have Muslim friends to hang out with. And that was like the greatest connection I wanted to do, alhamdulillah. And you know, I feel like we've been going on multiple years. Our generations have been getting, like I said, we've been getting 5 to 7 members, now we're getting 10, 15. Even in the summer we got 20 to 30 people. Like during our events it got super packed. And alhamdulillah, it really showed how a bunch of Muslim brothers can come together and strive together to create something really big, alhamdulillah. And I want to add, especially during my term, when I served as coordinator, we added a gym downstairs. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. But that gym is something I wanted to have given to the YM so we can self-improve ourselves, not only physically, like our bodies, but also mentally and spiritually as well. So all of those bonds all connected together in our YM so we can improve all together and become sustainable all together.
Salam everyone, I'm going to keep it like short and sweet. So I've been involved in Lion for like a pretty long time because I joined like before the age limit. I think I joined when I was like 13 or something. But yeah, so I've seen like a lot and I've seen how everything pretty much grew. And like over the time, obviously like many people's activity changes, many people have like different things going throughout their lives. And like one thing that's really good about Lion is every time you come back, no matter how long of a break you take, you always feel connected. You always feel like you never really left, and it always feels like you're welcome. It always feels like there's always something going on. There's always someone to talk to whenever you need something, even if it's good or bad. And I feel like that's like a really important thing we should try to spread out to everyone in the community who's in the age limit. So that's why like when we have events like these, it's important that we can share it out to as many people as we can. Because like obviously I know many people put in a lot of work for this event. So it's like, it's kind of discouraging to see that this small turnout is happening, but in reality, we want everyone to be part of it, no matter where you're from, and like, just everyone's welcome to this event, and like, any event from YM. And another thing I want to say about YM is like, it's like, I've been privileged enough to like do a lot of things with YM too, like a lot of first things. I went paintballing for the first time with YM, we did escape rooms for the first time with YM. And it's just like overall, it's just always a way to like look forward to having something to do on a Friday night and just being in a good community, in a good headspace, no matter what you have going on. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone coming out tonight, and yeah, thank you.
Assalamualaikum everybody. So I was told that I was given a time limit to speak about what YM means to me. And to be honest with you, as cliche it may sound, thank God, because we'd be here all night if I kept talking. But that being said, it's hard to describe my experience in YM in just a couple of words. It's one of the few topics that I could just talk forever about and sometimes get emotional about. When my family and I first moved here, I always dreamed of knowing Muslim guys and calling them my friends. Now I can confidently say that these guys are more than my friends, they are literally my brothers. Where if any one of them called me in the middle of the night, I would pick it up in a millisecond. Where my core memories are not me going to Pakistan as a young child or winning competitions. It's driving in a car with my guys and talking for 2 to 3 hours just about life and Islam. Us going to Dorney Park and hearing them scream from the depth of their stomachs, and them making me step out of my comfort zone and do things I would have never imagined. It's because of YM and the connections I have made, I am more confident within myself and for who I am than ever I was before. It is because of YM I'm stronger in my deen and I am able to participate in high-level conversations about current issues. It is because of YM that I am a proud Muslim. So if any parent is ever wondering what YM is or if they should ever put their child in this organization, I'm telling you right now, do it. Let your kids be a part of something great. So then one day, inshallah, they can carry the torch towards something greater. Jazakallah khair. With that being said, alhamdulillah, we have concluded the presentation aspect of our night. And now we are opening the floor up to Q&A. So if you have any questions about our organization, about our chapter, or about our presentation in general, please, brothers and sisters, raise your hand and ask away. While our members set up the table. I see you, Baz, but give me 1 second. the age limit for Hawaiian Easton is ages 14 to 25.
Okay, if you guys have any questions, please raise your hands or is this the mic working? Maybe we can pass the mic around. Oh, great, it's working.
It's pretty good.
Sorry. Right there. Just a small point, I think someone mentioned that.
Wait, sorry.
Just a small point. It's okay, just talk. So just want to mention one point that we didn't talk like that, was missed. We didn't talk about the biggest event of this year, so you should talk about the people that you guys went there, attended that, and how was that experience, you know?
So Miracle did bring up a good point. You know, as we were talking all about these trips and everything like that, one big thing that alhamdulillah we have been doing since 2019 is attend the yearly ICNA conference. And alhamdulillah, this year was our biggest turnout. I think like maybe 30 guys came to ICNA with Hawaiian Easton. And it's just a beautiful thing to see that much brotherhood. And, you know, we were all together. We attended so many speeches together, you know, again, like the late nights, just talking and just, you know, reminiscing about memories, and then attending late night halakas. Like, these are the memories that we always find, and that's what makes Hawaiian Easton.
Just another point on that, alhamdulillah, it's a lot of these guys, you guys that are right here. But everyone, honestly, everyone who came and did the work is helping, right? Anything that we do here, the three people that are on the stage right now, we're not the only people doing work. There are other people doing work, and they know who they are, and they know what they're doing. We don't, you know, stop anyone from not joining our group, but or helping out. That's basically the idea. I kind of went on a tangent there, but ICNA is actually our parents' organization, so that's what I want to bring up. So YM is actually a subset of ICNA. We work by itself, like our organization runs by itself, but ICNA is a parent organization, so we have to go through them for certain things, and they gave us resources and money for, you know, events and stuff like that.
Fazil, you're waiting so patient. Yeah.
So the question was, how do you establish a YMJ? I think the same situation kind of goes for establishing any type of organization, especially, I can speak more on the ICNA side of things, but it honestly comes back to, you know, context, right? So how do you get that started? So my personal opinion, and from what I've seen in my experience, is that you have to just reach the correct people and kind of get their, you know, idea of how they run it, how their vision, their mission statement is, what they do, and have someone dedicated to, and you know, maybe have one or two people that will be able to help out with that project. And if you need any people to talk to, we can definitely get those contacts for
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when it comes to building organizations is just finding the right people and finding people who have a vision. You know, this just didn't, yes, alhamdulillah, Hawaiian is a national organization, but Hawaiian Peace didn't just start with one person. It started out with multiple people who have the same vision of bringing the Muslim youth together. And especially with kids, especially in America, as we all know, it is so vital that we have organizations like these, especially younger kids, where, you know, they are growing up, learning about their Muslim identity, and, you know, they need an outlet to find out, okay, what does it mean to be a Muslim? Because it's one thing coming from a parent, but it's another thing seeing people around your age and seeing people who look like you, act like you, who understand what you're going through. So my biggest thing is, you know, I think I'm pretty sure, you know, it's mentioned in the hadith, you know, surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with people who will take you to the next level, not only in your personality, but most importantly in your iman. Inshallah.
Any questions?
Grow YM.
So the question was, how do you grow YM? Can you be more specific?
Like, how do you try to get more kids involved with YM?
Okay, so like, how do we get?
How are you gonna get them from summer to even their school?
So your question was, how are we going to get more people involved in YM to bring in more members? No, that's actually a very fair question, because, I mean, the biggest thing that we need to acknowledge is the beauty of diversity, right? So I'm pretty sure I would say a good amount of us are Pakistani Indian, Desi, we're Desi, right? It's a very vibrant Desi community. However, there's a very big, prominent black community in Easton. And one of the biggest things that YM is always, not just YM Easton, but YM National is always trying to do is diversify our group. Not just racially. When people think of diversity, think of race. It's not always about race. Yes, race is a big factor. However, socioeconomic status, you know, finding out what their background is, you know, where are they in terms of their religion. The term diversity is so vast. And one of the biggest things that we have, you know, when we talk about how we're going to expand our YM and how we're going to diversify our YM, it's bringing in people of different backgrounds. The biggest thing is race. So one of the things that we have, South had initiated was attending seminars and lectures, how to interact, how to communicate, how to involve people of different backgrounds, specifically different races. Unfortunately, we live in a time where the topic of race is always talked about, and sometimes in a very negative way. You know, we have amazing community members, not just in Easton, but in the Allentown area, such as Ibrahim Jabba, who is the current youth director of ICPA. He has been a big mentor for us in understanding diversity and understanding the importance of what it means to include people, understand their backgrounds, understand the difficulties, and understand where they came from. Because once you reach that understanding, you are able to include them and they feel included too. So the biggest thing is just understanding where your people come from. That's what makes mine bigger.
To kind of add on to that point is I know like in the leadership of some program, it doesn't just stop at us. It also is, you guys as members also play an important part. You said about growing YM. The biggest thing is word of mouth. People will hear stuff, but if you tell them, you know, like, this is the place we go Friday, this is what we do and stuff like that, people want to get that stuff. People are looking to do that stuff. We are actually not, we've had a few instances where we had other religions come in, we invited other religions to play with us, they saw us pray, they saw us do our halakha, and they were more than interested and came back a few times as well. So you guys play a big part in growing YM because you guys, just like you guys make friends at school, you guys can go out to other communities, other places, and talk about it and your experiences.
Just to add to that point, some of the, you have a question? Okay, so I just want to finish off with one quick point. is being open, right? Being open to ideas and other people in the community, whether from your own community to the next community. Alhamdulillah, we have 3 or 4 different masajid now in this community that are growing very, very rapidly. So we have a lot of amazing community members. We have Brother Farhad here from ICBA. He's come out here and his family. We appreciate them coming out, and he's played a big role in mentoring me as well. But what I'm saying is being open to ideas, and one of the things that we try to implement, especially when we try to plan events and the people that we involve or we try to involve, if they're wanting to get involved, is a concept called muhasabah. So muhasabah, if anyone doesn't know, does anyone know what that is? A muhasabah? Self-accountability, exactly, Mr. Mayor. So muhasabah is a self-accountability assessment. Basically, you have an entire session dedicated, and what they do in YM is a quarterly muhasabah. We try to do it. We haven't been consistent with the quarterly, but basically it's to call people out when they're making mistakes and being very blunt with those call outs. It's not just about, you should have done this, you should have done that. No. Or you don't say anything at all. This is a time where you say something and you do something, right? You make that person feel a little bad, right? Just enough so that they're able to, realize what they did or didn't do in that case, because you love them for the sake of love, right? You want them to become better. We want them to become better. We want them to become better Muslims. So we say those things out of love for the sake of our brother. At the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters. We want to build this ummah to a point where we were historically, where we're not at anymore. So that's all on that point. We have a question in the back.
Yeah, no, that's such a great idea because like you said, I went downstairs before the presentation and I saw tons and tons of kids going downstairs. One girl actually climbed up one of the poles. And I was like, was that your daughter? No, mashallah, if she was able to climb that, she could come to Empire State Building. I can already see it. But, it's just, these kids love the masjid. Hearing their laughter, hearing them playing, and seeing even younger kids taking the initiative of playing, hey, let's play this game, hey, let's play that game. That's what these kids want. Just as much us as, young adults, teenagers, need that type of guidance, like with each other and with our parents. Same thing with these kids, These kids are growing up the same time as us. So I think, having that Big Brother program would be extremely beneficial, not just for the kids, but for us as well. Because then it would, catalyze us to be better mentors and catalyze us to better the organization so that when the new generation comes up and becomes the new YM they're ready.
Just one of the, I do want to make aware of one thing. It's a great idea. And one of the other things that YM National is pushing us to do is get YMS more involved as well, build that communication. So there's a lot of things going on in the background as well. It's just a matter of implementation and feasibility. One of the biggest issues with PA currently is it's in New Jersey, for example, our sister state, I'm gonna say, they have Rutgers. We have a lot of colleges that are close by. So once our
before I get to that though, I don't know why the moms are trying to get the kids out of the house and have you guys babysit. But again, I do like the idea, but I think right now, like with the age that you guys are at, I think you guys have to also focus on your own development and the guys that are in that group, right? You do have an age group of like 14 through 26, and there's a lot of hand-holding that sometimes needs to happen, right? And part of that on how to grow the group itself. And I've been kind of, I've talked to you guys once in a while, and I deal with this with some of the older groups that, of guys that we have. It really comes down to like substance, right? It comes down to like, what do you guys actually have to offer that will want these kids, make these kids want to come, right? It's not about anything else, but then like being able to reach out to the kids and draw them in based off things that they're interested in, but then using that as a way to get them in, but then also helping improve them in all different aspects of life, from Islamically to school to whatever else. Now to my question, I know most of the night we'll be kind of hearing about like everything that you guys have been doing. I'm more interested to get your take on what you think the community can do for you.
No, the question was if the community can do for us. So alhamdulillah, we, as far as I'm saying that the community has gone out of their way to help us in every aspect that they can. But of course, there's always room for improvement. And I think it comes down to like, if we are going to mentor these kids, we would in some sense need some mentoring too, because like Rabbi said, we do have kids ranging from 14 to 26. Now, before a certain age, kids are still young, they're still children themselves. So helping them, kind of develop their character and helping them, holding